Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, this is the Daily Deucey podcast for today, February 22nd. Next year will be February 22nd, 22. That'll be Deucey Day. February 22nd, 2022. I mean, 22, 200 years from now, for maybe my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson, Deucey. It would be even better for Deucey Day, but today is technically Deucey Day, 222. We have some stories today. Going to hit it kind of quickly. Also, not even sure if I'm going to be able to post this on Facebook because I am in the 24-hour Facebook jail. So a buddy of mine, John Suda, posted a meme that said something about don't eat the yellow snow. It's not lemon flavor for all the millennials who eat Tide Pods or some stupid shit like that. So I responded to a friend of mine. It's actually mango flavored, you racist white piece of shit. Was it a little aggressive? Sure. Was it completely in context and appropriate? Absolutely. Now, I'll give Facebook one little kind of reprieve, is I have hit the appeal button saying that they don't understand the context. So we'll see actually where that goes. That actually has worked out before. But this is an issue now, and it's an issue across all the sites, Twitter, fucking Facebook, maybe IG, maybe not, I don't know, but they've cranked up the AI and word filter bots. This isn't people doing this. So if you type, you're a piece of shit, or you're an asshole, like, it's starting to catch words, and that shit's getting blocked right away, no matter what. And you can appeal it, which means an actual fucking person looks at it, but they've cranked up the censorship bots super heavy since the election happened. So call it what you want, but that shit is 100% happening. On to the fucking shitty story for the day. Try to be less white. Coca Cola hit with backlash over confronting racism training course. Understanding what it means to be white. Challenging what it means to be racist. From The Blaze. Coca-Cola found itself at the center of a controversy on Friday after a viral social media post revealed that some Coca-Cola's employees completed a racial sensitivity training course that teaches participants how to be less white. If there was an article telling people to be less Asian or less black, and not for nothing, which whites are we talking about? Because I know you're not putting a fucking nice Irish and Polish fucking German kid like me in with the damn Italians or the French. Are we all white? Can we be less Italian in North Jersey? I think that's the new push we need to be. Less Italian in North Jersey. Bring back the fucking Irishmen, and that's what we should do, okay? So if we were doing less Italians, I'm in. What are the details? Images of the course were shared by psychologist Carolyn Borisenko. Yeah, she's not a fucking Italian, I'll tell you that. An activist who was fighting against critical race theory, awesome, who obtained the images from an internal whistleblower at Coca-Cola. One of the slides in the course titled Confronting Racism states, understanding what it means to be white and challenging what it means to be racist. So, if you're white, you're just racist. Got no choice in it. Another slide states, to be less white is to be less oppressive, less arrogant, less certain, less defensive, less ignorant, more humble. You must listen more, believe more, break with apathy, and break with white solidarity. It's just fucking unbelievable how out of touch these people are. And this is the fucking same, the whole course is written by the same lady who wrote White Fragility. And it's just ridiculous. These people who write these things are the real racists. The people on the far left, like, listen, far right fucking people in Mississippi and Alabama probably say the fucking N-word all the time, and they're racist. Sure. This shit is actually worse because they're pretending to be not racist and not fascist, and they're literally doing the same thing. It's the same thing with the memes going around now with Biden saying that Black and Latinos don't know how to use the internet. These people are the real fucking racists. The people who see race and everything, and Like, this lady assumes maybe she's oppressive, she's arrogant, she's certain, she's defensive, and then she kind of puts that out on everyone else who's a fucking white person. Robin DiAngelo is the writer. Again, an Italian. So, I'm saying this in jest because I live in North Jersey and my entire culture is Italian, and I'm friends with many Italian fucking people, but, like, fuck you, babe. Not all white people are racist. And many people from other races are super racist. Pretty much all races. The description of the course says the training gives you the vocabulary and practices you need to start confronting racism and unconscious bias at the individual level and throughout your organization. There's no magic recipe for building an inclusive workplace. It's a process that needs to involve people of color, that needs to go on for as long as your company's in business, but with these tools at your disposal, you'll be on your way. You know, like, I'm curious as to where this lady Robin DiAngelo, I gotta veer off here now. Where did this lady grow up? I'm curious. Robin DiAngelo. Where did she grow up? American author, Westfield State University, early life. San Jose, California. San Jose, California. Do you think she grew up hanging out with many fucking black people? Like, listen, if you grow up in a fucking urban neighborhood with more of another group of people than yourself, like how a lot of black people have to deal with, and you want to fucking champion those things, but if you have no idea it's the same shit as when you go up to these super liberal places like Vermont and fucking Maine, and I haven't been to Maine, but you know, these like kind of really fucking woodsy fucking areas that are super liberal. That's where Ben and Jerry's is. That's where fucking Bernie's from. You go up to Vermont and you quickly notice there aren't any fucking black people up there. When you go to Burlington, like, you see a little bit, but these people talk all this shit, but they pretty much don't allow black people to actually live there. Isn't that like a little curious? Fuck you, Robin. What was the response? Coca Cola's met with a backlash online. Attorney Harmeet K. Dillon, probably not a white. What? This seems like blatant racial discrimination to this employment lawyer. Candace Owens, also not a white. If a corporate company sent around a training kit instructing black people how to be less black, the world would implode and lawsuits would follow. I genuinely hope these employees sue Coca-Cola for blatant racism and discrimination. I hate fucking quoting these other people just from random fucking Twitter things. So, anywho, Coca-Cola's response was, the video circulating on social media is from a publicly available LinkedIn learning series and is not a focus of our company's curriculum. Our Better Together global learning curriculum is part of a learning plan to help build an inclusive workplace. It is comprised of a number of short vignettes, each a few minutes long. The training includes access to LinkedIn learning on a variety of topics, including diversity, equity, and inclusion. We will continue to refine this curriculum. So, what does that mean? Like, they have accounts with LinkedIn Learning, and they have topics on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you basically outsourced your internal, learning and internal groupthink, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You outsourced it to LinkedIn. They put up some fucking super liberal shit on here, but it's not your fault. So, I don't know where Coca-Cola wants to take that, dude. This isn't going to work out, man, in the long run. And I'm super hoping. Tim Dillon was on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, and they were talking that hopefully most of the shit's going to blow over, and it's actually good that Biden and Kamala are in place right now because they're super boring. And we need to get back to being fucking bored out of our minds and not interested with the fucking jerk-off politicians. But forcing these things on people and making white people feel like pieces of shit, regardless of what nationality they actually are, it's not going to work out in the long run, babe. I promise that. What's also not working out in the short run, Bitcoin prints biggest hourly candle in history after Bitcoin rebounds strongly to 54K. So not a super great day on the crypto scene by any means, but we're staying okay. So Deucey crypto update 1237 on 2/22/21. Bitcoin at 52,764, 8% down for the day. Ethereum at 12% down for the day at 1711. We have Ripple somehow going up 4.29 for the day at 57 cents. And we have Doge crashing back down again, down 5% to just over 5 cents. So we had a big crash this morning, but good news is it bounced right back. Fresh criticism from the U.S. Treasury Secretary fuels an already fierce correction, briefly taking Bitcoin to 47,400 lows. Bitcoin fell below 50,000 on February 22nd as a correction. I was going to say correlation, but it's correction. As a correction gathered pace at Wall Street's opening to deliver 20% daily losses prior to a strong response from the bulls. So we went all the way up, hit that high yesterday, and then we had a correction, which generally happens when you hit these all-time highs. They sell off a little bit and they drop. Now, I don't even want to look again at my stock portfolio because stocks and crypto are doing really shitty today. So it just is what it is. Data from Cointelegraph Markets and TradingView show Bitcoin to US dollar falling heavily during Monday trading, hitting lows of 47,400. After reversing at all-time highs of 58,312 on Sunday, Bitcoin fell almost 7,000 in under an hour, sparking intense volatility, which continued at the time of writing. Almost a $7,000 hourly candle. This has to be by far the largest hourly move in history. I mean, it's a percentage. So if you go by percentage, it's probably not the biggest percentage move. But earlier, Cointelegraph Markets analyst Michael Van de Poppy, I like Michael Van de Poppy, and he's got a little weird dots over his E, so it's probably like Mikhail Van de Poppy, highlighted the area between 50,500 and 52,000 as being crucial to hold in order to preserve the chances of a bull run continuing in the long term. We're way over that right now anyway. In Fresh Analysis Monday, he noted that historically, this time of year is not when crypto markets put on the strongest performance. At the time of publishing, Bitcoin had recovered to the trade back above 53,000. And we're about that. So as long as it doesn't dip back over 50, we'll probably shoot back up, hopefully by tomorrow. And that last line is what I'll kind of end on this on, is blah, blah, blah. Noted historically, this time of year is not when crypto markets put in the strongest performance. So March is when everything crashed last year. Now, again, that was stocks and crypto, and that was mostly because of Corona. But generally March, I guess the Ides of fucking March or whatever you want to call it, but the stocks and crypto generally do shitty in March. So hopefully that doesn't get too crazy again, but we'll see where we go once March comes around, basically next week. Holy shit. So our local story to another fucking idiot. Pompton Lakes gym owner faces 12-count indictment in Capital Riot. Like how these people didn't think that they were going to get in trouble, regardless of how you feel. Like, if you storm the Capitol, you got to take over. Because if not, you get the fucking gallows, babe. A New Jersey gym owner in jail awaiting trial for his alleged role in his breach of the U.S. Capitol last month has been indicted on charges including assaulting an officer and carrying a dangerous weapon. The 12-count indictment released recently in Washington also charged Scott Fairlamb with offenses including civil disorder, disorderly conduct, and acts of violence in the Capitol grounds or buildings. Fairlamb, who has leukemia, has been in custody in New Jersey since his arrest last month and recently suffered a heart attack while in jail in Hudson County. So, I mean, fuck it. Maybe he just said, I have leukemia, fuck it, I'm going to die, I'm going to go out crazy. But this is like, you had to know it was coming, babe. Especially, when your boy Trump didn't take over and fucking hang fucking Mike Pence. Once Biden stepped into that office, you knew a world of hurt was coming. A federal judge in New Jersey initially ordered Fairlamb released on $50,000 bond last month, but detained him after prosecutors objected. Bright said Friday he's working to schedule another hearing to try to get Fairlamb released as he awaits a potential trial in Washington. An affidavit filed in the case last month showed a photo of someone authorities identified as Fairlamb allegedly punching a police officer in the head. A different photo allegedly showed Fairlamb picking up a collapsible baton that had fallen on the ground and putting it under his arm. According to the affidavit, a video showed him with the baton, suggesting that patriots would disarm them and storm the Capitol. A crime of carrying a dangerous weapon illegally entered a restricted building to disrupt government business, punishable up to 10 years in prison. So, like, this guy's definitely a fucking Trumpy, and I firmly believe that a large portion of Antifa people dressed like fucking Trump people and either initiated or helped the storming of the Capitol. But if it was only them, then that was their fault. If they suckered all the fucking Trump people in and brought them into the Capitol so they all look like fucking clowns and the world goes fucking nuts, when they didn't go nuts for the fucking Antifa riots the whole summer. But now Trump people are getting arrested, and there's people like this asshole and the fucking Horn guy who supposedly hangs out with Nancy Pelosi's son or some stupid shit like that. But regardless, these are the people who get arrested, and these are Trump people. So the argument that it wasn't any Trump people attacking the police goes out the window with this fucking jerk off. You know, he's going to get fucking, his friend fucking sold him out. He has a long history of supporting police enforcement agencies. Then you shouldn't have fucking punched one in the face, bud. I don't know what to tell you. Onto the Deucey Entertainment section. Google, id Software, and Bungie are the subjects of a Stadia lawsuit. Companies made false or misleading claims about 4K, says the plaintiff. Google, id Software, and Bungie are the subject of a class action lawsuit that claims the companies misled customers by saying Stadia games could be played at a 4K resolution. So before, it might tell you what Stadia is. So Stadia is something Google came out with, and it's all game streaming. So you get like a little fucking box with a controller. It's a console, but none of the games are saved on your computer whatsoever on the console. Everything is played on their servers, and they're just streaming it back and forth to you. So A, you need super fucking internet, but B, you don't actually need a really high-powered console. Now, the problem is, if you don't have super fast internet, the game's going to be shitty. You can't really play multiplayer games on this because the lag is too much. You can play single-player games decently with decent lag, with almost no lag, but you also would need a fucking really, really wide pipe to be playing these games at a 4K resolution. So this is part of what the lawsuit is saying here, that they sold these games as 4K, but it was really much lower resolution that they just upscaled, which is not true 4K. Reported by ClassAction.org, the lawsuit was filed last year in Queens County Superior Court, but has now been transferred to the New York Federal Court. The lawsuit, brought by plaintiff Jacqueline Shepard, centers around claims by Google ahead of Stadia's release that the streaming platform would be more powerful than both the Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro combined, particularly in its ability to stream games at 4K resolution. However, upon launch, it became clear that many Stadia games weren't pushing a true 4K image, but upscaling from lower resolutions. By allowing pre-orders before launch and not offering full information about the platform's ability to push 4K, the plaintiff alleges that Google made false and misleading claims concerning the streaming quality of Stadia's service in order to generate increased revenue for the division. So we're not going to kind of dive too deep in here. The plaintiff's seeking financial compensation for a number of different factors, as well as an order that forces Google to display the true resolution and frame rate of every game. It seeks to cover any person in the U.S. from June 6 to 2019 onwards who bought a Stadia and wanted to play them at the 4K. So we're going to end with this. I think they probably will settle this lawsuit because what they did is kind of shiesty. But the reason I really hit upon this is because this shit is the future. And, you know, the Sony and Xbox and Microsoft don't really make much on the actual consoles themselves. If not anything, they probably lose. And that's why Microsoft bought Bethesda Studios, because they're probably not going to come out with consoles much more. Like, there might be a PlayStation 6. There's probably not going to be a PlayStation 7. They're just going to be PCs. And they might, start making branded gaming PCs, but consoles are probably not going to exist in the same way that they exist now. The only consoles that will actually be consoles will be these type of devices where the game is actually being played on a server somewhere else, and the images are just being sent to you. So that's going to be really great for people who don't have access to high-end fucking gaming rigs. So that'll be good news. And it will just continue to increase. And the people who have their own rigs will just be able to play those multiplayer games at much higher frame rates. So it is snowing again today, which is ridiculous. And I have to get on a school bus again. Thank God the game's not too far away, so I don't have a fucking conniption. Driving to the game last week, I actually shut my eyes and cringed for like a second going around this wide turn because it's really creepy. But hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Hopefully we get win number 5 in a row today. We're 4-2. Lost the first 2, even though I think we would beat both of those teams if we played them again. And we're going to go for a continued undefeated season after the first 2 games. So wish us luck. Adios.